a special class. UPSC syllabus passes to India. So as you all know, that these are some of these classes are being done from my bedroom, so kind of mismanaged. But soon I will have a professional studio. पेंट वगैरह हो चुका है मेरे प्रोफेशनल स्टूडियो में. एक एक्सपर्ट की साइट विजिट हो चुकी है. दैट एक्सपर्ट हैज टोल्ड मी अबाउट ऑल द लाइट्स, proper camera, proper arrangement. So max 10 days we will start having high level standard classes. So there will be no need of small classes. We will have long classes now. And I also have a computer connected to the board, so that lot of quotations, important lines I will be able to share on the board for all of you, and you will also get the PDFs. Now let's get back. We're going to talk about this particular story, Passes to India, written by E.M. Forster. See, E.M. Forster is not an Indian writer. He's Anglo-Indian. Means, though he was not staying in India for a long time, but he was a Britisher who started writing about India. E.M. Forster, as a writer, was serving. He was secretary of Maharaja of Devas. Secretary of Maharaja of Devas. So first point that you have to note down, E.M. Forster was Secretary of Maharaja of Devas. Let me just check if my voice and everything is it's proper. So I will just check it. Secretary of Maharaja of Devas, E.M. Forster. Now, see, Secretary of Maharaja of Devas started. He was living in India, knowing Indians, understanding Indians. He wrote Passes to India in 1924. Passes to India was written by 1924 and deals with the British Raj. Deals with British Raj. अब important point क्या है यहाँ पे? What's the most important point? This is the factual detail. E.M. Forster, Passes to India, 1924. What was he doing in India? He was Secretary of Maharaja of Devas. This is the important point. Now let's get back. अब हम चलते हैं Passes to India as a work. So Passes to India as a basic work, it deals with the attitude of Indians, relationship of Indians with the Britishers, the friendship, the intellectual standards, and a kind of relationship where they look at each other. This is called ethnic nepotism. So this is the post-colonial narration. Ethnic nepotism means Indians are Indians, foreigners are foreigners, Britishers, and they are always different. They cannot become one. दोनों कभी एक नहीं हो सकते. First thing is ethnic nepotism. If I have a friend from Switzerland and I have a friend from India, psychologically I will be more connected to that Indian person, right? So that concept of ethnic nepotism is very much properly elaborated in this book. Now let's talk about the story. There are some important characters. Dr. Aziz, Professor Godbole, Dr. Aziz, Professor Godbole, Adela Quest, Mrs. Moore, Mr. Fielding, and some other minor characters. These are important characters, so write down their names. Dr. Aziz is the hero of the story and he is fascinated with white people. अंग्रेजों से fascinated है. He thinks that the white people are superior, white people are better, white people have broad mind, white people are different. They adore Indians. It is the Indians who don't understand them. It is the Indians who don't respect them. white people are good people. डॉक्टर अजीज को लगता है कि अंग्रेज बहुत अच्छे लोग होते हैं और हमारी गलती है, हम उनसे ठीक से डील नहीं करते हैं, बट दे आर रियली गुड पीपल. प्रोफेसर गोडबोले, intellectual, he doesn't get fascinated with Britishers. He doesn't care who is Britisher, who is Indian, who is what. He is highly intellectual. So ये कोई किसी को भाव नहीं देता. He doesn't care. Now, Adela Quest, a girl from Britain who has come to see India. Her name Quest is symbolic name. Quest of India. Her name is symbolic. Quest of India. She has come with Mrs. Moore. Mrs. Moore is a good woman. Good, mature woman. She is around 60s. And Mr. Fielding, a young, charming British officer who becomes the friend of Dr. Ajiz. Now, when Dr. Ajiz goes to meet Mr. Fielding, there is a scene. Mr. Fielding is taking bath. Dr. Ajiz goes to meet Fielding. Fielding is taking bath. Dr. Ajiz tries to wear his hat, looks in the mirror and tries to look like white people. Fielding naha raha hai. Dr. Aziz goes there, finds his hat, wears the hat in front of the mirror, tries to look that, oh, do I look like a foreigner, a Britisher? He's fascinated with British life, English life, white color. Through Mr. Fielding, Dr. Aziz becomes friend of Mrs. Moore and Adela Quest. Soon he becomes friend with these people. And he's fascinated, he's happy, he enjoys, he thinks that he is superior than other Indians. वो दूसरे इंडियन से ज़्यादा सुपीरियर है. ही इज़ लाइक दैट. अब क्या होता है? सी, डॉक्टर अजीज, मिस्टर फील्डिंग, मिसेस मोर, one day they make a plan. So they make a plan to go to the cave side. Now, Dr. Aziz questions Adela Quest that you want to see India, so let's go to the mountain side, cave side. I will be showing you temples, I'll be showing you the caves. Adela Quest goes with Aziz, where she gets the echo sound in the cave. The echo sound and the wasp. She gets scared. The wasp and the echo sound in the cave makes her get scared. When she gets scared, she runs and she's trying to run out of the cave, where she actually accidentally falls and gets injured. इसको चोट लग जाती है, injury हो जाती है, she gets injured. She is rescued by another white woman who take her to the hospital, and they try to ask her what happened. But Adela is so much scared in a new scenario with new people that, and the other people, they ask if Aziz did something with you. सब बोलते हैं अजीज ने कुछ किया, अजीज ने कुछ किया क्या. Adela is a white girl in Indian scenario, new people, new mindset, new language, and gets scared. She is not in her senses, and somehow, when they are repeatedly asking her if Aziz did something, if Aziz tried to harass her, Aziz tried to molest her, somewhere she says yes. Aziz is immediately taken in the custody. He keeps on saying, no, I didn't do that. But nobody trusts him. His own friend, Mr. Fielding, doesn't support him, though he was a friend. Mr. Fielding doesn't support him. Now he's taken to the court. Now, when he's taken to the court, in the courtroom, the court scene, the lawyers, they come. The white lawyer reads his personal letters written to his wife. He is separated from his wife. He is not with his wife. In his letters, he has written this, that I'm missing you and somehow I want to have physical intimacy. So all these desires, which are the personal letters written to his wife, the lawyers read in the court and they say, this man, he has the desire of physical intimacy, and that's why everything that is shattered in the court. Now, the lawyer from the side of Dr. Aziz, they demand the presence of Mrs. Moore because Mrs. Moore was already there. So they say, please bring Mrs. Moore. But Mrs. Moore, she has been sent away. So the lawyer shouts in the court and shouts and says, Mrs. Moore. So he shouts. This Mrs. Moore is heard by a lot of other Indians who are in the court. कोर्ट सीन चल रहा है, बहुत सारे इंडियंस आ गए हैं, भीड़ है, बहुत बड़ी भीड़ है. उनको भी सुनाई देता है कि somebody has called Asmore. Then the crowd chants Asmore. Again it goes and travels. Asmore. Crowd doesn't know what is happening, but they have come to support an Indian. Indians have come to support Indian, but white people are with white people. The crowd doesn't understand what is Mrs. Moore, but they are just showing the solidarity. They're saying Esmore, Esmore. This shows the ethnic nepotism. Then Adela comes in the court, and then it gets cleared that Aziz did not do anything wrong. Aziz should be pardoned, Aziz should be left. Aziz gets emotional, and there is a famous line he says, my personal letters were read in the court because a white lady had a doubt. मेरी सारी पर्सनल चीजें आपने कोर्ट में ला दी क्योंकि एक व्हाइट लेडी को छोटा सा डाउट था. ये है हमारी इमेज. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव, द इमेज इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, यू कॉलोनाइजर्स. So when he's freed from the court and things have settled, at the end of the story, Mr. Fielding meets Aziz from a distance, says, hi, hello, we are still friends. हम अभी भी दोस्त हैं. We are still friends. Who says? Fielding. Aziz replies, no, not here, not under that sky. This is the last line of Passage to India. What does this mean? We are still friends, but he was not the friendly one. He didn't trust. He said, no, not here, not under that sky. What is that sky? That sky means the colonization. We are slave, you are ruler. You are superior, we are inferior. You think you are superior. You think we are inferior. So there is no friendship between superior and inferior. The friendship is always between the equals. This book is actually giving us a message, which is a famous message given by E.M. Forster. East is east, west is west, and twine shall never meet, and twine shall never meet. East is east, west is west, twine shall never meet. These lines are actually taken from ballad on east and west. East is east, west is west, and twine shall never meet. The idea is the superiority inferiority concept, the exotic otherness. So when we study the idea of post colonials, I'm going to delete it. When you study these things for UPSC, right? So in UPSC, when they ask questions, they don't go for the easy questions. They will go for the questions with post colonial narratives. So in post colonial narrative, now we have to see the pointers. Almost all UPSC exams, they have questions from Passage to India. So simple story that we have understood. I told you the idea of ethnic nepotism. But what are the other post-colonial elements that we find? The first thing that you have to see, the fascination of Dr. Aziz with white thing. He is fascinated. This is called exotic otherness. A theory that has been dealt by Azaz Ahmad, exotic otherness. Second thing, Professor Godbole, who doesn't give a damn about the white people. Professor Godbole stands for ethnic existence or ethnic identity. He supports his own identity. Adela Quest, her name Quest deals with exploration, which is a post-colonial thing. exploration, finding, learning, conquering. Then the British rule and how they control, that is colonial rule. Then Dr. Aziz tried to wear the hat and he tries to look like them. That is Homi Bhabha's concept of mimicry. That is Homi Bhabha's concept of mimicry. Dr. Aziz gets confused at the end and realizes that he is always an Indian. That is, he is actually freed from identity crisis. Adela Quest, who gets scared and runs away, that is cultural shock. That is cultural shock. Now, along with these things, there are some other things that I am going to teach you in my further lectures. Now, what you have to do is go through my lectures on post-colonial theory, which is available, which is already given to you. Plus, there are so many free lectures on YouTube that I have talked about post-colonial theories. Understand what is identity crisis, the idea of mimicry, colonial rule, exotic otherness, ethnic existence, exploration, cultural shock. Get done with these things, and in next lecture we are going to study the character of Dr. Aziz in detailed way. Thank you so much.